Okay.
And they would also serve,
We also do community events and mostly help us with community events and occasionally traffic court.
So those would be the same guys that would just be part-time police officers at the end of the day? Or they,
They don't do any road coverage
Oh, okay.
for like regular patrol, like a 3 to 11 shift. They're really just hired for the school, but they help us because we need help with community events. They
right, basketball games or whatever,
Exactly.
stuff
Yep.
like that? Okay. Cool. Yeah, no. And then for the sanitation. I know the question was brought up, but again, the building inspectors that were just kind of promoted, so John's now full-time, but the salary's going down 25K, or actually 16K-ish. Because last year we had, I guess, 120,000, and now we're looking at 95,000. Is there anything?
he was paid by the hour this year, not paid by the hour, salary.
He's
We
salaried
also
now?
have a part-time building inspector slash fire code official. We also have clerical for that department also.
Okay. Excuse me just one second, just looking and looking. So I guess my final question, maybe one other, but on the employee benefits, the state retirement, now that went down, looks like 165,000.
Public employees went down, yes.
Through state retirement, the money that we pay to New York State, night shift, night,
Public employees went down. Police and firefighters, I believe, went up.
that came from the controller's office, Tom's office? Social Security and Medicare, same thing? That came down like 12K?
It's based on salaries. I probably
But if we're not
talked to the
losing anybody,
I
how
probably
are these
talked to
going
the-
down?
Controller's office, once every 2 weeks. Not retirees.
All right, and the big one again, as discussed earlier, hospital and medical, that's down 101,000. But the way the insurance is going up between 10 and 15, 18% a year, I find it hard to bring it down $100,000.
Well, we also have that in water.
I'm sorry?
It's also in the water. I don't know if you're looking at all three funds, all three budgets.
No, right now I only have what we received in the beginning of the month.
Okay, but that's not the whole story, though.
It wasn't published on the website.
I'm sorry?
Copies of it.
If it,
As we
if
walk
there was
in.
an opportunity to look at it online, I guess, that's probably the biggest kind of concerning question. The other last question on the bans and so forth for debt, you kind of went over the sweeper. Was there an opportunity where we did a ban for roads? And the
That's
money,
it.
and the thing was out there, I'll throw the number out there, 2 million?
Never 2 million. Never 2 million.
What did we borrow?
Probably $1 million.
$1 million for roads?
Curbing, sidewalks, the 3 streets, Decker, Smith Court, and Hayes. And we replaced some curbing along some of the properties that did not get their street paved. But it was never anywhere close to $2 million.
That's it, thank you.
I didn't sign on the list, but I have a quick question.
Sure.
Bob Bukowski, 29 Capitol Drive. A lot of people ask questions about the three funds and how the total gets, like the salaries or personnel gets divided amongst the funds. Took me a little while to get the hang of that. Is there a way somebody can just go over maybe one line item and kind of explain where that would be in the three funds?
Well, the fact, if we were to put every salary in the multi-fund, our taxes would go up astronomically.
No, I understand that part, but could we just show everybody how it's broken out? In
Oh,
other words,
okay.
Just where it is in the other, in the breakout, that's all. Just pick one line item.
Let's go to the village clerk. It's broken into the three funds. Water clerical is broken into two funds, water and sewer. Yeah, she might, or he might, but it's a she. Might just work an hour or two in something that has to do with taxes or something that needs to get typed up and sent out. Of course, that's part of the day.
I'm sorry, I'm still not getting it. I know I'm a numbers person, I like to see, take trustees. Last year, it would be like 30,000, 10,000 apiece, for just the trustees, 10,000 apiece. Yet I only see one 10,000 line item for trustees listed under Village Hall. So where are the other line items to show the other 20,000? That's what I'm hung up on. Trace Gassner, 7 Puritan. I don't see it once.
Administrative services or personnel services in the water as well as the sewer. There are 3 trustees that receive $10,000 each. The deputy mayor is receiving $12,000. And that's broken into all 3 funds. Last year, it was 4 trustees. There was wasn't a differential of deputy mayor. And the mayor, again, only paid from the multi-fund of $5,000.
So why isn't it listed then as trustees? Instead of administrative or whatever?
We just didn't break everything up. That's all.
If you look at the village clerk in the village hall,
On Village Hall?
she's 27,953.
Yes.
Then if you go further up into the water administration page that says water administration, if you don't have a new number, it's here. It says village clerk, 42,798. And then it says village clerk on the sewer administration, 27. So when you add that all together, that would be her total salary.
But I'm not questioning the village clerk, I'm
No, I
questioning,
thought you wanted to know where it was on each.
well, I'm looking for the trustee.
Okay, well, trustees, like you said, that was not separated. Bob had
So
said,
we separate
village
for
clerk.
one title, but we don't separate for others.
Whose idea was that?
I
To
can't
not
hear,
list- To not list them out?
I can't hear you. If you could please stand up and
I said,
say your name and address.
sure, Jolie Zarro, 71 West Main. I asked whose idea was that to bulk them together? Those actual figures where you listed as trustees on one side, but then you don't give it a line item on any other budget. I'm just asking whose idea was that?
It was a discussion that I had with our treasurer.
And you felt that that was okay to just keep it a bulk item instead of separating it so
Yes.
people can actually see?
Yes.
Okay, and I'd like to add, just because I'm standing already, that your salary of $15,000, that you felt it's okay to drop to $10,000, we're right in the middle of an election too. So the board is okay with that? that you're gonna be if you win, you'll be receiving 5,000 for next year, or the remainder of the year or so. The deputy mayor, who apparently does less than the mayor, because I saw a list of 10 pages of things that you do. Thank you for that service. But I don't understand, if you don't get elected, then doesn't that hinder whoever takes over the mayor position next term?
They could change it.
And how do they change that?
I believe there's a public hearing that has to be done, I'm really not sure.
Okay, well, I'd like to, I don't know if we're allowed to, go ahead and suggest that it just remains at 15. And then if you win, that would be your prerogative to not take it. But I think that's something that should stay current, because the deputy mayor makes 12,000, our trustees 10,000. It does look a little funny that you dropped it all of a sudden to 5,000. So I, for one, would like to see that stay at 15,000. I don't know if that
Well, to
is,
answer your first question, is the board okay with that? If you were to take a poll, they would say no. Neither would the village clerk. Actually, they think I should be getting the $85,000 that the town supervisor gets. Isn't that silly?
well, I don't know so much about that, but I just think it would be odd that they would okay it and, and vote this in as a proposal, since that's probably odd that they would accept that at $5,000. But if it's already, I mean, you've been taking it for so many years, right? Have you donated it back or anything, or you've just taken it as a
Believe
salary?
me, it costs me money to sit in the
No,
office.
I'm not questioning that, I'm just saying, for some reason, this year, you chopped $10,000 off.
Yeah.
Do you not think you're gonna be mayor, that you're gonna want that, and then
Oh, I know I
decide
am.
later?
I know it.
Okay, but I'm just saying, it
Yeah.
just, it looks a little peculiar.
Thank you.
Sure.
I actually have some more. Patrice Gessner, 7 Puritan. Again, I'm gonna reiterate that the numbers that I saw on the website that I printed out, to make sure that I'm comparing apples to apples, not just for the benefit of the residents, but also to give the benefit to the board as well. So that's why I ask questions, why are things broken out and not broken out? My analysis, again, is unfortunately based on the February 6th proposed budget, not the one that we did get at 7 o'clock today. Again, it shows on the proposed budget from February 6th, it does have trustee, the mayor, and deputy mayor all listed as one line item, not split between all three. Under municipal services, again, I'm working off of February 6th. What the budget does not show on the printout is a comparison from previous years. So under attorney services, based on 2 years ago, we go from 45,000 to 70,000, and now to 35,000.
I don't see 70,000. Okay.
Right, because it's not in the numbers. We're going back last year and the
We
year
we
before.
budgeted the attorney services for this year, $35,000.
Correct. But the year before that was 70,000, and the year before that was 45.
We didn't spend the 70,000. We
Yeah.
spent probably 30,000.
Okay. Under shared services, engineering, it says to move to sanitation.
No, it's not really.
Again,
what it says.
February 6th, engineering, move to
Okay.
sanitation. When you go to sanitation, it's not there.
That's a comment I made as well.
I didn't, she clarified. I didn't.
And then, could you show me where the line item is for the streetlights, because I can't find it.
It's under utilities.
And how much is that?
Yeah.
So it's through,
Yes.
as opposed to having a line item A51824, which is what is in the past. Special items, general government MTA tax, Again, going from year to year to current, I see $30,000, 30,000, and only 9. So I don't know how that affects the budget. What is an NTA tax anyway?
Something that your governor would pretty much ask.
Yeah, so everyone pays like, it's like 0.0034% of your salary, they pay a tax.
So it decreases good,
Yeah.
okay,
You know, plus any car that you put on the road, they take a
Yeah.
good chunk of that too.
okay. I think someone else brought up the school police, the part-time school police. It's listed under the 23-24 budget for 120,000. Previous years were 90,000 and 95,000, which is an increase in 25,000. So is that for one person or is that for several? Under law enforcement, speed sensors, taser, lease, we go from 6,250 to 5,000 to 35,000.
Where were you with that, I'm sorry?
Law enforcement,
Okay.
first line item, speed sensors.
Chief?
I see it's at 35,000. What was the question? Again, I'm sorry.
Well, we go from 6,000 one year to a budget, to 5,000, and now it's 35, so I'm questioning the jump.
Yeah, I can speak. We're looking to budget body-worn cameras and also license plate readers in the village.
Getting new ones?
Body-worn cameras, we have none, so we're looking to
So you're looking
purchase.
to get them. Perfect. We're all in favor of that. Not sure if anybody brought it up, but again, the building inspector went from 104,000 to 120, down to 95,000. So is that a cut in pay?
No.
Hourly to salary. You go from hourly to salary.
And what is CHIPS? CHIPS, permanent improvements.
It's a program from the state. Each municipality receives dollars. How do we, what's the percentage? I don't know that percentage, but we have a cumulative rollover of over $200,000. We pay the contractor, and then we would get reimbursed from the state. On anything, I believe it's 10 years. Something has to last 10 years.
For road, yeah.
I think there's something, could be a piece of equipment.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thanks for answering my question.
Yes.
Donna Jacaruso, 39 Woodfield Drive. Came up a couple of times, the comp planner, 80 was proposed originally, 55, but I just, for my own, we know it didn't include them doing the zoning. So it didn't include, I'm just trying to get an idea on what it actually will cost in its entirety, because we need attorneys to work on that also, we need engineer and so on. Do we have an idea on what the entire comp plan would cost as a whole, all-inclusive?
His contract, John Mayer, contract is $80,000.
Right.
Okay. I see the comp plan going into next fiscal year before it's finalized, as long as we keep it moving. Okay, and with that, I could see the zoning taking place as we move forward with that. So you're looking at the balance of the comp plan, including zoning, probably going to be in the 2024, 2025 budget.
So the zoning will be additional to that because he's not doing that piece.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm hoping that we button this thing up you know, and it comes in at 50,000.
Well, his projection was, if I remember correctly from the meetings, it was October or November
Okay,
of 2023 for his piece.
so hopefully we only spend $50,000, $55,000.
And we're all scrambling here. You know, we got the preliminary February 6th. This didn't get posted at all. We're getting handed here at the meeting, you know.
The bottom line is your taxes are going up 3%.
I mean, that's the,
That's really the bottom line. What we could do is take all the payroll out of water and sewer and put it into the multi-fund and have your taxes go up 15, 20, 25%. I think that happened here already.
and
Okay, I don't wanna pay anything. Okay? I don't wanna pay any taxes. I don't wanna pay a water bill. When I go to shop, I don't wanna pay that bill.
3% is not the issue. It's getting the opportunity to review all the numbers prior to the meeting. But my biggest concern, and it's the first thing that I had talked about in my earlier comment, was why have we not submitted our financials to the state since 2018? I mean, I'm concerned. I mean, we all have these questions here. Things don't feel right. We cannot be rated because we've not submitted. How do we really know where we're at?
They are being submitted.
There's 90 days, right? You know that. From the 28th, we have 90 days to submit. We have not submitted since 2018. So they'll be submitted, but what about 18, 19, 20, and 21? Why have they not been submitted in all these years? And we cannot get a rating? We're the only village in the entire county in that situation. Why?
What are the other villages that are not in that situation?
Any other village in this county is not in that, nobody has not submitted their financials since 2018. I mean, you can look at the state level. There's not that many. You want to pull up the towns. I'm not going to dissect the entire thing, but it's highly unusual for a municipality to not have submitted their financials in 4 consecutive years. It could be beyond that. I don't know, because it only shows me the last 4. So I don't know how far back it goes. I know it's 4. You know, why? How do we really know where we're at? If we're in fiscal distress, like I'm hearing that we are.
She's working on it. Getting everything caught up. That needs to be caught up.
4 years. You get 90 days. We're 4 years and 90 days behind.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Okay, so under culture, you have celebrations, $9,000. Then if I go under community environment, you have holiday decorations, 4,000, banners, 10,000, parades, 5,000. Do you have the breakdown of what the cost is for the overtime for the police department and to do these type of celebrations, as well as for our DPW to clean up afterwards? How did you arrive at these numbers?
From overtime, judging how long it's going to take.
So
Okay.
wouldn't that be in the police department overtime budget and not on this?
It could be. It's in the same multi-fund. It's in the same fund.
But no, it is, but it isn't. It's just, I'm sorry, for me, I just find it very confusing not having this breakout of information because I can't know where my dollars are going this way.
I could tell you the overtime comes out of the police budget, I believe. I mean, that's where I'm being told it comes out of. I budgeted, every year or every month that we do a community event, I usually email the board a monthly report of expenses, what each detail costs, so they kind of have an idea.
So if it's in the police budget already, why is it being billed again separately?
Because there's other people besides the police that are involved in this.
I understand that, yeah, the DPW would be though in the DPW overtime budget? Why is it billed again in the generals, in that part of it? That's what I'm trying to understand.
So you think the parade should be broken down?
Well, you have parades and then you have celebrations, so, you know, to me,
Agriculture.
to me, celebrations is parades. It is banners, it's all the same thing.
And fireworks?
Fireworks, it's my understanding, doesn't the community, Washingtonville Community Events host all that stuff?
You don't pay for it.
There's
The
not
fire department
fundraising?
takes a collection every year.
There's a collection for it every year.
Not here from
The
us.
village.
Not from the village.
Paid for the fireworks. They've always been at the meetings, you know, they've always paid the fireworks.
The first year of fireworks, I paid for them.
I'm just,
Out of my
again, I'm just
pocket. That's
trying to
why
come from
I paid
understanding.
$10,000, because I'm not paying for them anymore.
So, and are these figures here too, because I know we do a lot of overtime, we have Wabbitville coming up and all that other stuff, so that total of $19,000. Again, is that all the police overtime? Is that all the DPW overtime? Is that the cost of cleanup, traffic, and all that other stuff? Plus, if Blooming Grove decides to start charging us for their police officers that they send to assist, that's their prerogative. You know, or is that included in that number? That's what I'm trying to understand.
No, it's in your overtime, but I don't know if Blooming Grove was going to charge us overtime for their police, I would have an issue with that.
Again, I don't know if they are or they aren't. I'm not
No,
speaking for the
even with that whole
town.
statement, the fact that as much money as we send Blooming Grove each year, for them to charge us anything. I don't know if you were here that night when we asked them to explain the
I
$1.3
was here,
million.
yeah. I was here.
Okay, I still have an issue with that my taxes down in the town have gone up 3.5%.
I understand, listen, so have mine. I own property just like you do. So your taxes go up, my taxes go up.
Right, we're all taxpayers here.
Correct. Again, I'm just trying to understand the
And our job is to
situation.
make sure that we don't raise taxes that are crazy. In the past 5 years, they have not gone up,
They should have.
but they didn't.
I thought your job was to make sure that we're paying the right things for the right prices. When taxes go up, we know that, but isn't our village hall, our, you know, administration, government supposed to be watching what we're paying? Not raising taxes, just to keep the status quo?
I'm sorry I didn't raise taxes. I thought I was doing the right thing.
We don't know because financials weren't submitted. The other thing, just real quick, we're using Excel for this. Isn't there some type of program, professional program, like Edmunds or something that should be used for this type of,
Have you priced
for
Edmonds?
budget?
Have you priced Edmonds?
No, I
It's a
haven't
checkbook.
priced Edmunds, but
It's
this,
expensive
but
as hell.
the Excel
We were
sheet's not
using it.
working.
It's
The
expensive as
percentages
hell.
were,
She's not using Excel. Leslie's not using Excel, I tried to keep that.
What application is it?
Yes.
QuickBooks?
Yes.
No, yes.
Okay, yeah, so I'm still the same person. My question is, I guess, to the treasurer. So it was brought up that the village hasn't paid the financials to, I guess it's New York State, Orange County. Donna, who didn't we pay? New York State or Orange County, the 4 years that have the financials
it's
haven't
the
been paid?
state comptrollers where
Okay.
you have to submit your
It's not a fee.
financials every year.
We're not
Okay,
paying any
so-
money.
So the fact that we haven't submitted them, we as a village for 4 years, you said the treasurer is working on that. We're 4 years and 3 months
I don't
behind.
think we're 4 years.
But you just said that.
But where are you
No,
seeing?
I
No,
didn't
you
say
don't
that,
think
she
that-
said that.
Okay, well, you said she was
I
working
see
on
the
it, so I'd like to know,
that data, we're not
what-
on.
you're the treasurer?
Correct.
What was the last year you submitted the financials?
Well, I just started here in October,
Okay, but I'm sure you've gotten to see
so I'm working
it.
through a couple of years to work right now with the state. I'm in contact with the state daily to get everything up to date. So my goal is within the next 6 months to have the village have everything submitted and in compliance. And
Okay, so what
Everything's
year
done.
was the last year that you have already noted that,
I'm working on 2020, 2021.
okay, so
So they
that's,
should have everything prior to that. I don't know how long it takes them to post on their website, I'm not sure. But I'm working on 2020, 2021
so
and
she's
getting that
just,
submitted.
okay, so she's just working on 2021, how come this wasn't done before? How come it's taken now, 2-3 years to start working on it?
Because
Was
we
it not-
finally have a treasurer that knows what she's doing.
So nobody knew what to do before that?
No one knew what they were doing. They probably thought they knew what they were doing, but they didn't know what they were doing. We also had auditors that didn't help any way about getting the financials that we needed.
But didn't you
Okay.
know to submit these?
That's why we hired, that's why we have a treasurer and auditors.
But we're talking about 2018, so you
No, we're not
didn't
talking
know?
2018.
She just said 2021.
That's what she's found,
But
2021.
that's what she's working on.
Okay, but you didn't
I don't know
say
where
that you
2018
confirmed that
came up
everything
from.
else was submitted.
Where did 18 come from?
I can't find it either, so I guess they know something we don't know, I don't know.
I mean, can
Okay.
you, are we in a financial audit?
Yes.
How long will that last, this financial audit?
A forensic audit?
Oh, no.
No, just this audit that you're talking about, going through and getting the financials in.
For the state, yes,
Okay, you're working on 2021 right now.
correct.
Okay, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
It will
seems
get
that-
done, everything will get done, and it'll all be submitted.
It seems that code enforcement has its own page. So I would just like to know, there's salary and dues and clothing allowance for that. Where are the fees for the contracts under the code enforcement for landscaping services?
What
So-
landscape?
Well, there's a snowplow person that goes around that when they call that somebody hasn't cleaned their sidewalks. Where are those fees?
Send the village cleanup,
Okay, but under who? So is that, it's not under
community
contract?
environment,
I'm sorry?
community environment.
Okay, so
And
how,
when we do have to do work like that, the homeowner is charged for it,
correct.
okay?
But if it's done incorrectly or without knowledge or so, like for example, the village board kicked mine back because I was not home at the time. Other people have gotten landscaping companies to clean their driveway, I'm sorry, not driveways, the common sidewalk areas during a blizzard with less than 6 hours after the snow. So those charges get kicked back. So the village does actually wind up paying for that.
The code for snow removal is, I believe, 5 hours after the last snow,
I think it's 6,
6 hours after the last snow.
right.
The sidewalks have to be cleaned, okay, on Route 94, so that children could walk to school. They don't have to walk in the street.
Right, but that's also during a snow event, anytime, not just on a school day. It's anytime, it's at
Yes.
6 after, you have within 6 hours after the snow stops.
Right.
But landscape companies have been called in the past, right after a blizzard, within those 6 hours, they've cleared, and then people have come back to fight that, they've gotten those charges removed, so that's what I'm asking, where does that charge come from?
I'm not sure what you're saying, because it's not true. Okay, I would call a landscape company, okay, to go clean sidewalks, all right, if they're not done after 7 or 8 hours.
Okay, well,
Some
in the
people
past,
just
it's
don't wanna
been
clean
done,
them.
it's been done before the time or so, but I'm not worried about the time right now, I'm just asking, where do those, what line item does that get paid from?
Village property cleanup,
Okay, so that's just any season, any department, even though it comes under code enforcement?
it would also come under if we have to cut down a tree in the green.
Okay, all right. And also, where is like a legal fund for code enforcement? I've worked pretty close with code enforcement this past year and
Yes, you
have
have.
dealt with legal issues. Where does that money come from? I don't, and I'm asking in the sense that trustees are taking over 3 separate budgets. Where is the insurance that covers the village when there's a lawsuit or something like that, or the fees when the village is pursuing a lawsuit? What budget does that come out of? Because it's not under code
It would come under
enforcement.
the attorneys.
Okay, but which one? Because trustees are over a set area, so would village insurance, wouldn't it? Like code enforcement
Under
or
this
suit or-
administration, we haven't been sued.
I'm sorry?
Under this administration, we haven't been sued.
Well, I've
We
taken
haven't
you
been
guys
sued
to
in
small
the
claims
past
court.
over $1
and-
million.
Right, well, I've taken you to small claims court, I won my judgment, but it was vacated to make room for this other criminal charges.
Okay, I don't think we want to get into that
No,
right
but I'm
now.
asking, but it's a financial question, I'm
Yeah.
asking what budget line does that come from? Because you seem to have split up trustee salaries over different budgets, but where are legal, under code enforcement, you're showing a separate, a separate budget area. So where are those fees for that specific usage?
If we were to get sued, it would be insurance.
So just one basic insurance you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrice Gessner, 7 Puritan. With the renovation of this building, is that gonna happen this year?
Yes, yes. Contingent upon selling the police station.
Do we have a proposal for that? For a dollar amount as to what it's going to cost?
The police station, to sell the police, this building here.
Well, I'm gonna ask both, so.
They
yeah.
are, the bids have been sent out, drawings have been sent out, okay, for people to give us prices.
Okay,
And we have to make sure that those prices do not cost more than the sale of the police department. I really don't want to put another bond on village residents, but from what I'm gathering in here, yes, I should not worry about that.
You could give yourself a
Sorry.
higher salary and
That's
pay
what
for
I'm
it.
Yes,
Susan Walski, 24 South Street. And I apologize for coming back a second time, it's just trying to get through this. Under sewer operations, you're showing a decrease in sewer utilities for $60,000. How were you able to decrease that $60,000?
we probably over budgeted last year with that, so we didn't spend that money, so there was no need to put it back in the budget history.
Okay, and then, sorry, like I said, this is a mishmasha. For streets and highways, and I'll try to get back to it. I know that the town of Blooming Grove does, or I guess the question is, do they still plow some of the streets for us? And don't we get charged from them for that? There we go, under highways and streets. For snow removal.
They plow the outskirts of the village. Okay, they extend, if need be, if a major blizzard was happening. To charge us, last year they charged us $1.32 million.
So why isn't that in here? It's not in your highway and streets. There's nothing in there for payment to town of
Because
Blooming Grove.
that money is not coming from the village, it comes from the residents. They're acting as if it's their $1.3 million, that they're writing a check to the town of Blooming Grove. We all pay a portion of those some taxes to the town, as we do in the county. And no, we don't charge for plowing.
Okay. They used to, years ago they did.
Well, years ago, there really was no DPW.
Yeah, there was.
I mean, I'm talking years ago.
Town did all the plowing for the village at one time. And when you had one truck and one man in the village.
Okay. Being no more questions, I'd like to close the public hearing for the budget adoption. Need a motion? Trustee Sampson, motion to close. Second? Deputy Mayor Lodato, roll call. Trustee Kolar?
Yes.
Trustee Sampson? Trustee Kolar?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lodato? Mayor Bucko. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Washingtonville, New York has met and considered the the budget for the fiscal year beginning March 1st, 2023. And whereas the Board of Trustees conducted a public hearing there on February 27th, 2023, as required by New York State Village Law, Section 5-508. Now therefore be it resolved that the budget as presented at the aforesaid public hearing is hereby adopted as the annual budget for the Village of Washingtonville for the fiscal year beginning on March 1st, 2023.
Take the street budget down, the
Motion.
streets was a disaster.
Deputy Lodato,
I said they cut the street budget down and the streets are. They can drive.
Trustee Kolar. Deputy Mayor Lodato has made a motion to adopt the 2023-2024 budget for the Village of Washingtonville, seconded by Trustee Kolar. Roll call. Trustee Kolar.
Yes.
Trustee Sampson. Trustee Kolar. Deputy Mayor Lodato. Mayor Buckfield, yes.
I'm walking anyway.
Thank you very much. I don't know if it's snowing now.
It
I
was
think
on the
we're
way
supposed to
in.
get a lot of snow, so we can count on the town plowing the outskirts. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in
I
favor?
don't understand.
All those opposed?
Monica knows me.